Now, here are the latest updates on the on-ground situation by our correspondent Simon Marks, who had joined us earlier from Washington, D.C. Listen in.
Yes, absolutely. Look, this was a night of violent clashes between protesters and police in major cities all over the country. Some of those clashes took place in Brooklyn outside the Barclays Center between police and protesters. There are all sorts of videos on social media showing police meting out some considerable force to protesters as they attempted to clear the area. It was, of course, in Minneapolis where the situation was worse because the authorities there lost control of the city. The governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, has conceded that they completely lost control of the city last night, to the extent that he has decided now, for the first time in history, to mobilize the entire Minnesota National Guard. That's 13,000 members of the Minnesota National Guard in a bid to try and get back control of Minneapolis when tonight we presume there will be another standoff with demonstrators. And as you said, the governor of Minnesota is conceding now that these protests are about more than simply George Floyd. Minnesota officials say that many of these protesters that were arrested last night came from out of state. President Trump on his Twitter feed is claiming that these protests are professionally managed, organized groups, he said, that have nothing to do with George Floyd. But in reality, what's happening here is that George Floyd has served as the spark that has reignited the Black Lives Matter movement all over the country. And then you couple that with a situation where the United States now has 40 million people out of work, has lost 103,000 people to COVID-19. Everyone has got guns, and we're at the beginning of a very long, hot summer here. It all adds up to enormous trouble for the United States. Well, there's a theme here. You're absolutely right. On Twitter, the president attacked the mayor of Minneapolis, accusing him of being a liberal Democrat. How come all of these places that defend so poorly are run by liberal Democrats, wrote the president. Get tough and fight. That's an echo with regards to the rioting in Minneapolis of what he's been saying about COVID-19. He's argued that COVID-19 has particularly impacted states that are run by and popular with Democrats, places like New York, like California, like Illinois, like Michigan. And he's gone to political battle with several of the Democrats who run those states. So again, another example of the president choosing to sow division politically in the United States at exactly the moment when what the United States needs from its president is a message of national unity and healing. And one has to ask whether Donald Trump is incapable of delivering that kind of message because he genuinely doesn't believe in it, or whether he's simply unwilling to do that because as he enters a re-election battle that is going to be very tough for him between now and November against former Vice President Joe Biden, he wants to shore up his grassroots support, and he firmly believes that the way to do that is to get tough and battle the Democrats down in the streets where it counts on every particular issue, whether it's COVID-19, George Floyd, the protests that has engendered. Every time the president has the choice, he's at the fork in the road between sowing a message of unity or seeking to exploit political divisions. He always avoids the unity fork and takes the other turn.